Because
Yes.
as you're handling all these proposals, you definitely get an idea. I started getting a better idea of how Cardano works when I started reviewing those proposals.
Yeah.
That's the best way.
It
Yeah.
helps to understand. So Catalyst, you should be introducing your communities to Catalyst.
Yes.
It's something good.
And it's
I never
rewarding
really
for
thought
them
about
also.
that
Yes,
as a,
yes,
that is a
yes.
serious thing. I
Yes.
never thought about that way.
Yes,
People
sir.
that- It's true that back then I was busy, but now I can make some time for that.
So it's
I can definitely
Even the
make some time.
community will.
So, okay, can you tell us in India what are techniques you are using to have a large community? Such he was saying that
Yeah.
he's nexting from Goma to India because he found out that your community is larger than ours.
It
What
grows-
are your
it grows
strategies
way faster than
to
US.
have such a large community?
Like, how I see India is in India, we already have existing Web3 community. Like India has the second highest developer base, whole worldwide, and first highest crypto holders worldwide. So India has the existing community. Now what we are doing is we are putting Cardano in front of them because there are already developers, DAOs. Every city has its own DAO. Hyderabad DAO, Delhi DAO, Bangalore DAO. So we're going to them. We are putting these opportunities. One of the most interesting opportunity for everyone is Project Catalyst. We say like you can do TikTok videos, you can do open source development, anything, and you will be rewarded. And besides that, we are doing hackathons. Students, we see a lot of interest, and with the recent developments in Icon, all the new materials. Previously, 2 years back, when I said like please develop on Cardano, there are offers. They'll be like Haskell, no, we can't. But now it's Icon, easy to develop.
Easier than us.
So, and now from discussing with you guys, I guess I feel Project Catalyst reviewers is something which I'll start promoting as well because that's a great way so people can deep dive into it, study and get paid for it also. So that's a very cool thing, 100%.
That's
Yeah.
great.
So, when talking about blockchain in India, so we would like to know if there are, I don't know, some decentralized application that India can use to involve with the blockchain or Web3. I don't know if you have developed or another kind of
Tools that are
community.
being used.
Yes. For example, in our DRC, we have already EDAX and Equival, two platforms that are helping us to convert EDA to USD in our mobile phone. So we found that is really they are really good features to our community to see how it will be possible to use crypto to local money, such things. I don't know if you in your country you have such a features or other applications or in real life. If you can have some examples of such things.
So I'm part of a company called Willow Tech as well. So we strongly believe the total decentralization strength which Cardano has can be used at government levels. So for UP state government, which has around 200 plus million population, their whole forensic system, we are stamping it on Cardano blockchain. It's happening right now.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's really cool.
And it secures the whole forensics. So in UP state, they face issue with malpractices in forensics, like people change the proofs. So through a partner company called Quixi, we are building a system where at the point of collection itself it's stamped on Cardano. So it's immutable. And it's being used at a state government level. It's not being talked much yet. It came in the newspapers few months, 1 month back or something. We released a press release. So this is something, and this is a model which we are showing to all state governments in India. Even South African government for human settlements we are talking. So Cardano will, due to its core strength in true decentralization, like not crazy amount of like Solana, we need to have crazy hardware. Cardano is really decentralized. I think closest to Bitcoin. So these strong government use cases where decentralization is core, immutability is core, is where I see Cardano being used, and that's something very big.
Yeah, they are really, really big.
Yeah.
So do you think that Cardano has a good future in your communities?
100%.
Sure.
In India, for sure.
That's great to know.
Yeah, in
Yeah.
India for sure. But one thing, even communities or anyone, usually any person is financially driven. Like, why did I get into crypto? I wanted to make money. Like, that's how I got into. Like, few years back, I wanted that. But once I understood the philosophy. I read Bitcoin Standard. I spent a lot of time why everyone is behind it. Understood what money is, why the money. Like most of my parents or anyone doesn't know. If I ask them, they use money every day, but they don't know what money is. They don't.
Yeah, the core principles of what money
is. Like they don't know what fiat. They don't know is it backed or not. So because I got into all this crypto journey, I understand it. It's not for everyone. But once they get into the rabbit hole, they'll slowly understand and some kind of incentivization to get people in. That's how like India is occupied with Solana because they did huge events. They did huge marketing. Such kind of events we are doing, but not in that range. But according to the CF plan or key points for this 2025, they're planning 2 hackathons in India. Yeah, so I think more awareness is required. Community would love it because there's no better community than Cardano community.
Yeah, for sure. Really, Cardano has a system to improve the marketing around Cardano. Cardano has really amazing features in terms of technology, in terms of what can be built, the value that can be provided, but people are not aware. People are not knowing what is going on, what they can do with Cardano. So investing really in Cardano, investing in marketing Cardano should be a very good plan for 25, the next year or the coming year.
Yeah, I think it should be one of the priorities for the next governance actions once we are done with the constitution.
Really?
Actually write a solid plan to market, especially here in Africa. I see there's, and I was talking to Victor about that, and the kind of ideas that we had is that in Africa the only way you do it in a very sustainable way is if you go through universities. I think he was talking about students. The same thing can be done here. We have a lot of students, and there's a lot of potential in the blockchain community in general, but they have no idea what's going on in it. And they are studying outdated codes that are completely useless when there are new technologies that could be helping them. So one of the things that we're thinking is to actually rally or write a proposal so that we could go and tour all the universities starting from Cameroon and actually talk to them about this potential of what Cardano can bring in terms of code, in terms of driving some social changes. Because we have many issues that can be fixed using the blockchain technology. But we're not thinking that way yet. So we need to bring that awareness and be like, okay, look at this technology. We can actually achieve a lot with it. Start looking at it and start coding into it.
So before I end my recording, I will come to Martin after to Schran. Yeah. I would like you to explain a little bit about when we are talking here about marketing. So what's your point of view about what I'm calling here language barrier? So we have French speakers, we have Indian speakers, and I don't know what's in the world, and that is creating something like a barrier, and people are not really involved because of that. For example, in our community, we have to translate all before we help our community. So what's your point of view?
No, that we also have the same issue, and I think to some degree it can be even worse for us because at least you guys have only French in your community. So by default that you have to translate. In Cameroon we have both French part and English part. And most of the infos that are coming from the Cardano community are coming to us in English. And we have to translate some of them into French because the rest of the community has to be aware of what is going on. So any document that we get from the community, you have to translate. It's always the case. And usually we have to make these presentations in English and in French. And whenever we are organizing events, it gets complicated because you're organizing a hackathon. Some people are coming and they're only English speakers, and some other people are French speakers, and you need to deal with it. It makes everything double work. So that's also one of the main issues that we had in building our communities. Because sometimes we are just like, who is going to translate all these documents, and it gets really heavy. Yeah, because you prepare the hackathon, you prepare it in English, because most of the materials that you find on Cardano are in English. So you just prepare it very quickly, you prepare the presentation, and then you have to do all the work all over again to translate everything. And makes it really complicated. It's very challenging. So one good thing will be, as we are planning to go into this marketing thing, first of all, make all the main documents as they did with the draft constitutions, to translate it first of all of them in other languages, and make sure that this is a massive project on the whole ecosystem. We translate it to all available languages that we can. And make sure that most of the documentation that we need, either is from Catalyst or from IOG or all of these big groups, even from WADA, as we try to do in WADA, make sure that we get them available in other languages, so that once we launch this marketing campaign, we have all the necessary documents to actually
all the resources
to inform the community on what we want to achieve.
So what is the Indian version about the language barrier?
Yeah, like India has too many languages overall.
Among them English.
Huh?
Among them English.
But most of them speak in English, especially. See, how do I see it? Because from a business perspective, for example, if Cardano is a business, it's not a government, it's not a decent. If it's a business perspective, how do I see it? Where are we? We are still in the basic adoption stage. We are not out there extremely. We are popular, but we are not I don't see many people using Cardano. It's the decentralization, the core is there. So from a business perspective, DocuSign, one of our partner company, where DocuFi 3D, which is like DocuSign, where you sign documents using your wallet. You can sign it.
Using wallets.
Wallets.
Okay.
It's called DocuFi 3D. It's being built on Cardano.
Okay.
And they asked me, should we add Hindi feature in it? Hindi language is very popular in India. They asked me, should we add Hindi in it? So how do I take it? What's my take? Could be wrong, but how do I see it is to add Hindi and to do translations on a depth level, it's an expensive thing for the company. Most of the people in India who will be using wallets for signing, who are interacting with crypto at this level, maybe in future it will change, will be already speaking English too. 95% or 90% is English too. So from a business perspective, if it's a business, spending that extra money in marketing to go wider in this existing communities could be one thing. But when we come to translating, it's a barrier and we also face it. But from all my experience in this hackathon, 2,000 people engaged in our hackathons in 7 cities.
Wow.
Total. And 2,000 were English speaking people. So now how do I gauge it? Is it important? If I say it's not important, then I know I'm wrong. It is important. It is important to have it in multiple languages. But when 2,000 people who engaged with us are speaking English, should we spend that money there to translate or no? That's a question.
Yeah, that's
a question for us. And if I'm relying on GPT to translate, if I'm relying on GPT, AI or chat GPT to translate, the output is not good.
Not yet. Not good enough yet.
There can be a human touch after.
Yes.
It's a help. It's a help for translation.
Having in major languages is crucial. I agree with it 100%. But
Awesome.
So what is the Congolese version about the language barrier when it comes to Cardano expansion and adoption in communities like maybe French communities. Yeah.
For sure, it's like the same thing as he said. It's really like there is another layer of work that we are having to do that maybe other people, other English communities are not doing. As Congo really
Zero English.
zero English. So if you want to speak English, you have to go through some specialization, some particular trainings to learn English. But the small English we learn from school is not sufficient to get even a gist of the communication in such a Cardano ecosystem. So we have to deal with translations. We translate the most we can, as you are not going to take content in the Cardano community in English, then you bring it to a French speaking community that went to work. You will not get people understanding and following what you say. So we almost translate, and as you just said, AI is not that perfect, but I think AI is helping. Okay, I can just firstly translate the whole thing, then I just come with a human touch at the end, trying to correct word it's not the right word and so on. But we almost try to face with that.
So, in conclusion, do you think that English can be a barrier to the Cardano expansion in your community, or I don't know? Yes, yeah, something. Maybe you can onboard people and you ask them to go in a global call on Google Meet or Zoom, and they will not be able to understand what is fucking said there.
Only English as the language, that's really it will be a barrier for sure, because people who are not speaking that language, they will not really be able to participate and to engage within the community. So I think what we can do, it's good to keep originality. We say we are French-speaking people. We are not going to try to get into the English word, but mostly getting the translation. And what if you are able to, because it gives more opportunity if you are able yourself to discuss with other community members in English, but we should be considering that's really English only as the language in the community won't be sufficient, and we should be supporting initiatives trying to bring to take wider the content in other languages around the ecosystem.
Great, thank you. So here we're having a mate from Nigeria. Hello.
Hello.
What's your name?
I'm Mubarak Oladimeji, or Kids Willow.
Yeah. From Nigeria, Lagos.
Yeah, Lagos, Nigeria.
Great, thank you. So he's from the Intersect Marketing Working Group. So here we are talking about the Cardano marketing and language barriers. So do you think that the language can be a barrier in the Cardano marketing? So we have communities that speak Spanish, French, India, many other English languages like Vietnamese and I don't know what. So do you think that the language can be a barrier in the Cardano marketing?
Well, language barrier goes beyond just Cardano. Language, it's a problem that has been existing for a while now. We see it in several different sectors of community, but the way Cardano, the way Intersect, the marketing working group is structured, we have several community members, especially when we are talking about the MCC. I think this is the focus of the membership and the community committee of the MCC now, the Intersect. It's all about bringing together the community members from all these different walks, all these different regions. So it's all about finding community members that speak these different languages, or the ones that understand these languages, and reaching out to them so they can reach out to those communities, to their community base in turn. So it's marketing. I'll say Intersect is already taking steps towards marketing to several different languages. We're kicking off the community up working group very soon. I'm working to help towards the community up working group, where we have community ups from several already. We already have the Cardano Japan community up. We have the Vietnamese community up, and we are looking to set up a few others in Nigeria. Maybe we can have one in the Republic of Congo as well for the French speakers. So it's more or less reaching out to leading community members in certain regions. For instance, we have people like in the MCC. She and I we talk a lot in the MCC meetings. She's from Vietnam, and she helps translate Cardano, a lot of Cardano content to Vietnamese for Vietnam people. She hosts events locally in Vietnam. Also, she works with the Japanese Cardano community to also help translate Japan in Japanese as well. So we have several like that. We have people in the Spanish Cardano community in Argentina, in Latam, Cardano Latam. They are talking. There are people who speak English and also their native language, and they understand how Cardano is. So it is they that take it to the local people who are restricted by this language barrier. So they understand that Cardano is not just an English speaking community. It is a community, a global community that comprises of all the different tribes, different countries, different races, and different regions. So that is the focus of Intersect Marketing Working Group and the MCC 2025, bringing the community together to create a more robust, a more diverse, a more cooperative and coordinative ecosystem.
That's great.
So, talking about English, or I can say languages, a barrier in the Cardano blockchain or not, what do you think really should be a big purpose for the marketing group? Is that only English, or I don't know, language or something else, where they should focus their all efforts?
The marketing working group, you're asking the focus for the marketing working group?
Yeah, what should be, if we are listing some difficulties that the marketing group can, I can say,
Work on, or can
donc
try to fix.
sur leur liste, donc qu'est-ce qu'ils peuvent au juste beaucoup plus concentrer les efforts? Est-ce que c'est la langue qui est un problème, ou il y a quelque chose d'autre?
Okay. He's asking whether you as you are trying to work on the marketing thing. So, what do you think is the problem? Is the language the problem for adoption, or is there something else?
Yeah, bigger than language here.
The problem, the adoption of Cardano, where we want to make it work with the marketing working group now in terms of adoption of Cardano, it's a multifaceted thing. It's very nuanced. It's not a simple process. It's not a process that is tied to just one particular reason or one particular factor. So in terms of adoption, the focus of the marketing working group first and foremost is to first create a working system, a working marketing system to retain the community members that we already have first. And that's where we are talking with the events, the community events done across all nations, across locally. There are talks of a Cardano community events conference with the Rare Evil. We had the meeting with the Rare Evil the last time about a community event conference council, where several community members locally would organize their community events by themselves. So aside that, before we look to getting people from other ecosystems joining us, we need to find a system to retain the members that we already have and ensure that they are actively participating in governance. We have we look at the DREPs, for instance. Take the DREPs, for instance. We have several people registered as DREPs already. But what is the delegation stake to the DREPs? How many ADA in circulation are delegated to the DREPs? We need to start creating awareness for those things in several different communities. The African community, the Latin community, the Vietnamese community, the Japanese community, the Asian community, all the different communities together need to come together, and they need to be aware of the situation. They need to be aware of this volatile era that we are stepping in, because it is a decision that is going to be made by the community. We are giving the community the power, so the community has to be aware of how to use the power. Unless it defeats the purpose. So the first and foremost, the focus of the marketing working group as of now is first to retain the community members, keep them engaged. Then we think about getting more community members. But if there is already a system to retain those members, it will be getting people from other communities, Solana, from XRP. That's the easy part. Retaining them is the harder part. So we need to work on getting the system on the ground running. Community members should be engaged before we now think of getting mass people from other communities, from other blockchain joining the movement. And that's very well.
Great.